Hi guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel. So today this video is going to be all about the Natasha Denona Lila Palette. So at the end of this video I will show you how to do this eye look, which is just a really beautiful sort of raspberry type of a halo eye. But first I'm just going to give my 2 cents about the palette, and then I will also give you swatches. So this palette looks like this. It's a really beautiful sort of leather casing with a nice purple tone to it. This costs $129 US. You can get it at Sephora, Beautylish, and NatashaDenona.com. So it looks like this. You open it up, it has a magnetic closure, a mirror, as well as this perforated sheet which has all of the shade names, number, and finishes of the shades. So when you open that up, here are all the colors. This palette has more of a raspberry and mauve type of tone to it. So if you were thinking you liked more of like true berry type of colors where you had blue bases and royal type of purples, she does have like a 28 pan palette that has more of those type of purples in it, as well as more like true purple mattes. The mattes in it are more of like these sort of gray type of purples, mauve type of shades, as well as like more purpley browns. And there are only 4 mattes in here, which is this color, this, and this. And I find that these, at least for my skin tone, these mattes are not amazing transition shades in terms of being initial transitions, because they are a little bit dark for my skin tone. So if I try and go in with only these mattes, it ends up looking a little too dark and a little too muddy on my skin tone. So that's another thing to take into account. When I'm doing a full look with this, I always supplement it with a different shade throughout my upper crease. Natasha Denona, in my opinion, has some of the best metallic shades on the market. They are incredibly pigmented, a little bit goes a long way, and they have that really true like metallic foiled look. One thing I would suggest with them is to use your finger to apply them, and also have a really good sticky base like a glitter glue in the areas that you want the color really to pop, because that's going to make it adhere a little bit better. And I would suggest doing your eyes first before your face, because as they are pressed pigment type shadows, you can get fallout with them. Overall, I think this is a really beautiful palette by Natasha Denona. I have this, the Sunset, and a couple of her 5-pan palettes, and they are just really great. So I think if you were looking at this and these are the types of colors that you could see yourself wearing, then I would highly suggest it. There's not much more I can say about it. I'm just going to move on to swatches. So I've already done this eye off camera, and I've primed this eye. I used a little bit of concealer and translucent powder. So I am going to supplement this look with the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca palette. This was a holiday palette that I got last year. So they don't sell this palette anymore, but if you have any colors that are similar or anything like that, I would just go for that. And the color that I'm going to start off with is this color, which is called Noble. So it's a nice neutral matte brown. And I'm going to be taking a Sigma E40, which is just a really big blending brush. So I'm going to take that color first. So the next color I'm going to take is the shade Muse, which is this. It's sort of a satiny lilac shade, so it's not completely matte, but it doesn't have a lot of shine once it gets on the skin. So I'm going to take that on the same brush, and I'm going to take that exactly where I took the Noble shade, so just through the top of my crease. And this is going to sort of lighten that color up and give it that lilac tone that I'm sort of looking for to make it really purple on the eye. And I'm taking it down on the sides of the eye and then just really blending that out, because I really want them to blend together. Okay, so that's basically the transition type of a shade done. So now I'm going to just put my brow bone highlight on just to sort of get that over with. I'm going to be taking the shade Lyric, which is this sort of neutral ivory color. It does again have a sort of satin finish. Taking the Sigma Firm Shader, which is E57. I'm just going to take a little bit of that shade and then just put that right on the high point of my brow bone. The first shade that I'm going to take out of the Lila palette is going to be this shade right here, which is sort of the lightest type of matte transition shade, and this is called Nude Mauve. And I'm going to be taking that on a MAC 217, and then what I'm going to do is, again, I want to leave this space right in the center of my eyelid blank. So I'm going to take it right here onto the mobile lid and then through the lower crease, like this, and then bring it down onto the front of the mobile lid as well. Then I'm just going to take that first initial crease shade and just blend everything together, just really lightly, just to make sure it all looks seamless. And then now I'm going to be taking this Sigma E45, which is just a nice little tapered type of a blending brush. It has a nice point on the end. And then I'm going to be taking Viola, which is this shade right here. It's a nice, really beautiful sort of raspberry purple. And taking that even lower on the edges of the eye. So I'm taking that right here and right here on the eye. And I'm building up that color just really gradually, because this is a really nicely pigmented color. So you want to just lay a little bit down and then work with what you have. So I'm going to take that again through the crease, but really lightly, because I want to blend that color out nicely. So I'm just really building it up right here on the inner and outer edge of the eye, because that's where I sort of would want it to be at its deepest, and then through the crease. And then I'm going to take the previous brush that I used, the MAC 217, and I'm going to blend that out through the crease area. Then you see it's nice and blended. Then the next brush, basically what I'm doing is going from biggest to smallest in terms of brush sizes. So I'm starting off with obviously the biggest brush and then going really messily through the crease, and as I sort of move down the eye lower onto the crease and closer onto the actual eyelid, I'm making my brushes smaller. So this is basically the smallest size brush I'm going to use, and this is the Sigma pencil brush. It is the E30. So the next two colors that I'm taking are the shade Layla and Livid. So it is this brown right here, which is just a deep sort of berry brown, and then this deep sort of true purple here that has some lighter purple sparkle in it. I'm just taking a mixture of those two on the brush, tapping the excess off, and then I'm taking that in the same area I've been putting all the other colors on the front and outer edge of the lid, and I'm just sort of blending that upward, and I'm just lightly going to take that through the crease, but barely. A little bit more. I'm going to blend with my 217 once again. And now what I'm going to do to adhere the brightest color right into the center of my lid is I'm going to take a little bit of this NYX glitter glue, and I'm just going to take a drop of that onto my hand like that, and then with my finger I'm just going to sort of work that right into the center of the lid where I left it blank of color. And this is just going to really allow that pigment to be very bright, because it's going to have a really nice sticky base. And so what I'm going to do is I'm initially going to set on there the shade Helio, which is more of a sort of mauve-y type of a iridescent shade. And I'm going to just take that straight on my finger, and I'm going to put that right onto the center of the lid, and I'm just going to blend that upward. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Sigma brush that was the second to smallest brush we used, and I'm just really lightly going to blend that out. And then on top of that, I'm going to take the shade Juno, which is this sort of icy lilac shade, and I'm going to take that again on my finger right into the center of the Helio shade that I just laid down, and then just blend with my finger. So I'm going to take one last blend with the large Sigma E40, and I'm just really going to make sure everything is again blended out. And then I'm going to move on to the lower lash line. Okay, so for the lower lash line, I'm going to be starting off with this Sigma Small Taper blending brush, and I'm going to take that little mixture I did in the beginning of Noble and Muse, so the sort of taupey brown and the lilac color, and I'm going to take it quite far down as well. But again, I sort of want to leave this space right in the center of my eye, right touching the lash line, free of color. So I'm just going to take that, and then right under that area in the lash line I'm leaving free, I am going to sort of go down really lightly and blend that color out as well. And then the next shade I'm going to take is Viola. That was that really beautiful raspberry, and I'm going to take that on the inner and outer edge of the lower lash line as well. And then I'm going to take it right there and then blend that out using, this is the Sigma E38, and this is again just a nice blending brush, and I'm just going to blend that out so there's a nice diffused look to the eye. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade I used for my brow bone, or the brush, excuse me, that I used for my brow bone. This is the Sigma Firm Shader E57, and I'm going to just take the shade Juno, which was that lightest color that we used in the center of the eye, the icy lilac, and I'm going to be taking that straight onto that area on the lower lash line that I left sort of free of color. I'm going to really lightly bring that down. I'm going to be taking this Urban Decay eye pencil. This is in the shade Psychedelic Sister, so it's just a really nice bright type of a purple, and I'm going to take that on the waterline, but I'm again going to leave the center of the waterline blank of color. So I'm just mimicking that halo look from the very top to the very bottom of my eye, and so in the front of the eye I'm going to take that color as well. And then to finish it off in the center of the eye, I'm taking this Marc Jacobs eye pencil, and this is in the shade In the Buff, so this is just a metallic sort of ivory color, and I'm going to take that right into the center of the waterline. That is all the shadow done on the eye. I'm now going to curl my lashes. I'm just using this deluxe sample from Sephora, and this is a Buxom Mascara. So these are the Ardell lash trios in medium and short, and I'm just going to take one of the mediums. Okay, so I'm going to place that lash trio right in the center of my eye. So now I'm going to take a pair or a trio of the shorts, and I'm going to take those on either side of where I placed the medium length. But I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap in between where I'm placing each lash so that there is a little bit of sort of just natural lash, and it's going to create more of like a piecey look to the eye. And then I'm just going to put that same mascara on my lower lash line. And so now, as the very last thing we're going to do, I'm going to take that lightest icy purple right here again, and I'm just going to take it on this small detailer brush by Sonia Kashuk, and I'm going to put that as my inner corner highlight. So yeah, that is the completely finished look. I hope you guys like it. If you want to see any other looks with the Lila palette, or if you have any other suggestions, please leave it in the comments bar down below. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!